Time then for today's Campaign Chronicles, our daily look at the race for the French presidency. With just 47 days to go, Nicolas Sarkozy is going all out this week, desperately hoping to claw back the gap in the polls. It's not the economy or education he's choosing to campaign on, though. It's halal meat, which yesterday he said was a major preoccupation of the French. Can be discussing that in a second with Elena. But first of all, Caterina Vitozzi has more.
Meat has become a campaign issue. On French national radio on Monday, Prime Minister François Fillon said that religious slaughter laws that make meat either halal or kosher should be a thing of the past.
Religions should question traditions that don't have much in common with today's science, technology and issues of health. We live in a modern society. These are traditions which are ancestral, useful in the past, but not now.
France is home to Europe's largest Muslim and Jewish minorities. Fillon's comment has provoked furious responses from leaders of both groups. But it's the National Front's Marine Le Pen who first made religious dietary laws a campaign point.
All the abattoirs in the Paris region make halal meat, and the customers don't know about it.
This was a lie, according to President Nicolas Sarkozy. But subsequently, he called for French butchers to clearly label if meat had been slaughtered in accordance with either halal or kosher food laws. A move seen as a way to woo traditionally far-right voters. That's along with an already tough stance on immigration, a position reinforced by Sarkozy's Interior Minister Claude Guéant. On Monday, he warned against immigrants voting in French local elections, saying it might allow Muslim groups to rule community councils and thus impose halal meat in school canteens.
So how's this all gone down in the papers? Elena's here to tell us exactly how it has all gone down.
Hello, Stuart. Well, for Le Figaro, it's Sarkozy returning back to the good old themes of 2007, which won him the last election. Sarkozy placed immigration at the centre of the campaign is the headline, and inside they talk about how this works well, at least according to them, with working class voters who are concerned about whether or not the butcher at the end of their road becomes halal or not. For Le Monde, though, it's Nicolas Sarkozy playing his very last card in radicalising on the right as much as possible. They say it's the socialist candidate François Hollande who is defining the terms of the debate. It's he who's controlling the media attention. And so Sarkozy is just desperately trying anything he can to attract attention and attract all this newspaper coverage. They reckon, he's going to extremes in a kind of desperation. And they also point out he's upset both the Muslim and Jewish communities now with this idea that meat should be labelled according to how it was slaughtered so you don't accidentally buy halal meat without really wanting to. They both see that as stigmatisation, both of those religious groups. And Le Monde also, interestingly, has been to interview some actual halal butchers and the sociologist who says that halal butchers actually are an excellent example of immigrants integrating well into French society, because a lot of them are originally from North Africa, but of course they provide a vital service now in their communities and serve both Muslim and non-Muslim customers.
So Jewish and Muslim communities, are they worried about this then?
Well, yes, that's what La Croix is looking at. The headline is questions around ritual slaughter. They're explaining for readers who might not understand quite what halal and kosher meat actually mean. But they also quote the chief rabbi of France in there, who says that forcing butchers to label meat according to how it was slaughtered creates a kind of stigmatisation, and also it would make it twice as expensive because at the moment they slaughter more meat in halal or kosher ways than there are religious minority customers, for an economy of scale, if you like. But if non-religious customers deliberately wanted to avoid this kind of meat, which is sort of what Sarkozy is suggesting, it would be far more expensive. They also say that the main difference really is that the animal isn't stunned when it's slaughtered. And while that's a concern for animal rights activists, the paper says, and I think I agree, that it's hard to see the foie gras-loving French suddenly becoming so concerned about animal rights as all that. So, it's a bit of a non-issue, they're saying, really, for the ordinary consumer. It's just the far right who are interested in this. And Les Echos points out today in their editorial that this kind of far right talk on immigration is a subject that came up back in 2007. And for people who supported it now, all that Sarkozy is achieving by mentioning it again is making them realise how much of those promises that he made in 2007 on things like cutting immigration haven't actually been fulfilled. So it is, if you like, got high potential to backfire on him completely, they point out in there. And if we look at the polls today, this sort of swing to the right clearly isn't paying out very well in a polling sense. Le Parisien have got a new poll today, which has François Hollande on 33% there and Sarkozy on 25% in the first round. And second round, they've got Hollande on a massive 59% to Sarkozy's 41%, which is one of the biggest differences we've seen so far. So the gap is just growing and growing, pretty much regardless of what tactics Sarkozy adopts, it seems.
I remember we had an expert in who was saying that the first couple of weeks are crucial for Sarkozy and he needs to bring that gap closer together. It seems to be going the other way, doesn't it?
Well, lots of people are saying it's this week that's crucial. Of course, he's got a big meeting coming up in Villepinte in the suburbs on Sunday. And so lots of people are saying that if he can't close the gap in the next 10 days, then it's just not going to happen.
And excellent. All right, thank you very much, Elena. Elena Casas here at this time every day at the moment with Campaign Chronicles here on France 24. That's it from us. Jeannie's here really shortly with the latest news. Stay with us.
Watch all of France 24 on France24.com. It now features more content and is quicker and easier to use. 24 hours a day wherever you are, visit our website and catch up on all the latest news. Watch the channel in high definition. Pause live TV and watch programs from the past 24 hours at the click of a button. Find our reports, programs and web documentaries in seconds. All of France 24 in French, English and Arabic on France24.com.